Why do you fear failure? You're like, I don't never really think about it. Why would I think about failure? And if you're like most people, I'm like, all right, think of a thought. Think of a time you failed and it kind of bothers you. You start to think, you start to get a little sad, a little angry, a little frustrated, anxious, like, oh my God, all these terrible, horrible emotions that you just eat you up. And then you're like, forget this. I'm not going to think about this failure because it just makes me feel terrible. And you just like squash it down and try to pretend like it doesn't exist. Sound about right? That's what most people do. Most people get these negative feelings with failure and they don't want to be attached to them. And so they just pretend like they don't exist. And they try to avoid failure at all costs. That's what most people do. Truly successful people have the confidence to know that just because I failed doesn't make me a failure. A lot of you are afraid of what people might think about you because you messed up or you failed or you lost or had a mistaken attempt. And don't get me wrong, guys, I understand in theory, like if you want to succeed, you have to make mistakes and you have to learn from those mistakes. And you get better every time you make a mistake and learn from it. But don't get me wrong. I'm not like, hey, let me mess up. Let me make a mistake. I want to get it right the first time. But I know that if I do mess it up the first time, then I'll learn from it, go back to it again, make a little adjustment, like, oh, here's where I messed up. My bad. And then go at it again. I don't stay stuck in that fear, that failure, that pain, that anxiety. That's not your identity if you failed once. That's a choice. So those feelings are natural and it took me years to learn how to overcome it, but that's what I want for you. You need to learn how to fail and make mistakes and know that it's part of the process. I had a student who loved basketball. You see him before school shooting around, you see him at lunch shooting around. Basketball season was coming up and I was like, oh, so you're going to try out for the team. What position are you going to go for? He's like, I don't like our team. Our team sucks. I don't even want to play for our team. Like, that doesn't make any sense. You talk about it, you play all the time. Pull the kid to the side. I'm like, dude, what's the real thing? Why aren't you going out for the team? And he was afraid to get cut. He was afraid that he would go out for the team and he wouldn't make it and he would get cut. So instead of risking a chance at failure, he just decided to never play. And then as a result, he's like, dang, I should have tried out. Should have risked getting cut. He let his fear of failure get the best of him. And I don't want that for any of you guys. You have to learn that failure is not your identity. It is a part of the process of getting better. And I need you to have the confidence to know that your identity isn't based on that failure. You can accomplish anything you want as long as you're willing to sacrifice and put in the work. I believe in you. Go get it.